In 1863, Jules Verne had a vision. He called it Paris in the 20th century. He foresaw a future of electric lights, automobiles, and roads streaked with traffic. It was the story of a world gone wrong. He even predicted that a vast mechanical cathedral would rise in the center of Paris. But the book was too pessimistic to print. In 1889, technology caught up. But Verne had moved on. His next book, From the Earth to the Moon, was an optimistic celebration of the triumph of science. Today, 40 miles outside Paris, Verne's 19th century fantasy of space travel is slowly becoming real. This is a story where fact and fiction change place. It's a story about the future and the people who invent it. Eight miles north of Los Angeles, a few minutes' drive off the interstate, is the small suburb of Glendale. Hidden in the quiet, tree-lined streets is a high-security compound. Exactly what happens inside has remained a closely guarded secret for over 40 years. What goes on here is a kind of madness. This is the place where the Walt Disney Company conjures up new forms of mass entertainment. At Disney Imagineering, reality is kept at arm's length. Here, even the drinking fountains have ideas of their own.
Hey, what you trying to do, drown me?
It's a combination of imagination and engineering. People with pocket protectors and pens, and they're engineers, and they're electronics experts, and scientists, and dreamers, and artists, and sculptors. You couldn't imagine a more diverse collection of people all combined to the same goal.
Yahoo! This is going to be that's the part that I'm waiting for.
Officially, its purpose is to be the master design, planning, and construction entity for the theme parks. What it is in reality is a bunch of wackos all locked into a large set of buildings, the function of which is to invent the future of theme parks.
That future is the world's most technically advanced ride. Called Space Mountain, it's being planned in Los Angeles and will be built in Disneyland, Paris. This is a make-or-break year for team leader Tim Delaney. An idea he first sketched out in 1988 will open as a $90 million attraction in 4 months' time.
We designed these attractions for ourselves. We designed and say, what do we think would be really great? I mean, that's what Imagineering is all about. We kind of go out there and say, what do we think would be the newest and latest and most challenging experience?
The process starts with this modified flight simulator, as Bran Ferren's team begin to transform Delaney's dreams into hard engineering data.
It gives us a way to feel and experience what the ultimate attraction will be like before you have to bend steel, pour concrete, and do things that are a little hard to change. With this, we can simulate much of the ride experience and simply by a few strokes of the keyboard change it till our creative people are satisfied that this is the kind of experience they really want to provide our guests.
The data is collected and converted into a rudimentary three-dimensional model. The Space Mountain ride takes its first computer-aided steps. Passengers will board one of 5 trains. As in Jules Verne's story, From the Earth to the Moon, they will be packed like ammunition into the breech of a 5-meter wide cannon. A huge explosion fires the train up and into the blackness of space. The passengers will not see this track or the surrounding structure, as they hurtle at speed, disorientated, upside down, and in the dark. Towards the end of the 2-minute ride, they seem to fly through a cluster of asteroids, crashing through one in a shower of sparks. On a wet night, just under 3 months before Space Mountain is due to open, carriages for the rocket train are shipped in from Holland. The hardware for Space Mountain has been arriving in a steady stream from factories all over Europe. Most of it is going together well. The mountain, a vast steel volcano, is now a familiar silhouette to visitors, but it's far from complete. The software that will drive the ride is so complex that a technical team has been recruited from the aerospace industry.
There is a lot of interaction between the technical people and the creative people. The previous work environment I had been in, which was working with NASA and Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which was much more scientifically oriented. There was very little emotion in the product you were trying to deliver. And there's certainly nothing like when you finally do open one of these attractions to the public and seeing people's first reactions. You certainly aren't asking them, well, could you tell how many G's you were feeling at that point in the ride? It's, are they excited? Are they yelling and screaming and laughing and having a good time? And that's the payoff.
We present the first of our science factual programs, Man in Space.
40 years ago, space pioneers needed Disney to promote their vision.
In our modern world, everywhere we look, we see the influence science has upon our daily lives. Discoveries that were miracles a few short years ago are accepted as commonplace today. Many of the things that seem impossible now will become realities tomorrow. One of a man's oldest dreams has been the desire for space travel, to travel to other
In many ways, the Man in Space team of 1955 were Disney's prototypes for the Imagineers.
To the threshold of a new frontier. The frontier
To give the television audience a glimpse of the experience of space travel, they went to extraordinary lengths to create a completely convincing and factually accurate film journey, from the Earth to the Moon.
Here's Director Ward Kimball to tell you about it.
In working with engineers and scientists, we have found that there are many different opinions as to how we will eventually cross the space frontier.
Ward Kimball still lives in Los Angeles, his home a surreal monument to a lifetime in the movie business. Walt Disney knew of Kimball's fascination for UFOs and the paranormal and warned him to control his instincts for invention.
That's the way to go, making the pictures science factual, not science fiction.
To ensure the film's scientific accuracy, Kimball went looking for a technical expert. He found him in German rocket scientist Wernher von Braun. Von Braun had designed the V-2 rocket, and after the Second World War was brought over by the American government to work on their missile program. But von Braun had his own plans.
He knew he had a big thing there with television. That was the thing that sold him on doing this.